to Palatinate TV Reports. I'm Katie Smith, and today I'm joined by two of Durham's finest editors. We have news editor Theo and deputy editor-in-chief Harrison Newsham. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
So on today's show, we'll be discussing 4 of Durham's major news stories from this week. So first will be a report of increased drink spiking, staff overwhelmed by unsustainable workloads, pups on patrol, and has the 70% legend been shattered? So our first story today contains themes of drink spiking, sexual assault and trauma that some viewers might find distressing. University College JCR has recently announced that incidents of spiking across Durham have allegedly increased during Freshers' Week. Some have required medical attention as a result, and warnings have been issued by college JCRs urging students to look after one another. So Harrison, what do we know about this situation?
Yeah, so all we know really at the moment is based off this post by University College JCR reporting that they've had 5 cases at least of drink spiking at their college, and especially at their Freshers' Week Festival event. There's also reports of 5 other cases at Hillbead and various colleges elsewhere. Yeah, so it is quite a worrying story, but there has been a very positive response to it as well. Urban Angels Durham has stood up and given advice to people on drink spiking. Not that it is obviously the responsibility of the victims at all, but as well as that, the SU Welfare and Liberation Officer Jonah Graham has given advice, and drink spikies have been distributed across campus, which are basically the tops that can be put on drinks.
What about the college the bars in Durham? What are they doing about it?
Oh yeah, Jimmy Allen's we've spoken to, and they have increased security at their at the nightclub, as well as issued body cams to some of the bar workers, just to act as a deterrent. So it is a positive response to quite a grim situation.
And if you have been affected by this story, please contact your college welfare officers, Nightline and Urban Angels. And if you have any concerns about spiking, you can also get in touch with the Police University team. Moving on, Durham University staff have been given 2 extra leave days at Christmas this year in honour of the upset of the pandemic. This, however, has sparked some criticism from staff, with one professor calling the decision meaningless for academics. This has been echoed by Durham's branch of the Universities and College Union. Sophia, why do you think people are upset about this?
Well, the university designed this to honour the efforts of the staff over COVID, but we've actually had a lot of staff come forward and say, actually, this is meaningless in the grand scheme of things. The main problem that staff are raising is that the workload that they are being forced to deal with isn't decreasing, but the time that they're being paid to deal with work is decreasing. So the 2 days being taken off have been described by multiple staff members as basically, the option to do 2 more days of unpaid overtime, and so that's led to a lot of discouragement with the university management. And you've also got to remember that while all this is going on, the UCU are voting on whether or not to take action this term or next term. So we could be seeing strikes very early on, which is going to be really disruptive because we've only just returned to offline learning.
And in the past, they have been offered extra days before, last year and the year before.
Yeah, it was offered in 2020 before the pandemic, and actually it was met with a pretty similar response. Someone described it as massively unsustainable, because even then the workload issue was something that staff were raising. So it's not the first time that the university management has had to deal with a situation like this.
Thanks very much. And now a story is set to send shockwaves throughout the Durham student community. Could the 70% legend be nothing more than a myth? A Palatinate investigation has revealed this week that only 33% of Durham alumni have married other Durham graduates as well. So Harrison, is this going to be heartbreak for everybody in Durham?
Yeah, well, it really depends how strongly you feel about the 70%. There are those that like to fantasise about it and turn Durham into a romance. Then there's others that aren't too bothered, so it really depends where you stand on there. But it is a really fun story, I think, and for anyone that is heartbroken about it, we are still above the national average for inter-university marriages, because the national average is 20% compared to our 33%.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And finally, a story that led to Durham University being splashed all over the BBC and ITV. So COVID sniffer dogs are now working in the real world, and they've taken it like a dog to a bone. So Reggie, Maple and Storm are now moving into the next stage of research in real life workplaces to further test their abilities to sniff out COVID-19's tests. So Theo, can you tell us more about the research in plan?
Yeah, so this was a really fun story. Since May, Durham's been working with the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, as well as a charity called Medical Detection Dogs, basically to investigate how well certain breeds of dogs, usually Labradors and Retrievers, can detect COVID tests, and the results have been really promising. They've shown that it's the highs of like 94% detection rate have been really good, and the advantage of this over something like the LFT system is that they're a lot better at detecting asymptomatic COVID results.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Palatinate TV Reports, and I'm Katie Smith. Thank you very much for joining us.